Are you making the move to Phnom Penh but you're not sure what area to live in? Well, this video is for you. Hi, Eric here. Today I'm standing in the Russian market or Tuol Tompoung area. Boy, it's a hot day, but it sure is a nice neighborhood. Now, Tuol Tompoung is one of 4 neighborhoods that I see a lot of expats living in, and although there are quite a few other places you can live in Phnom Penh other than these 4 places, I'm going to show you these 4 because I feel like they are the most popular places for expats to live. So let's get started. Before I start talking about each of the individual areas, I would like to say that in my experience, most of the expats live either in the central region of Phnom Penh or in one of the neighborhoods kind of to the south. I'm in no way trying to impugn the people who are foreigners who also live in the west or the north. Just in my experience, most people live in those areas. When I'm talking about the prices of the 1 and 2 bedroom apartments in each neighborhood, I'm talking about for a middle-class Western style apartment, such that you would expect to have if you were a middle-class American, middle-class person from Canada, or middle-class from the EU. So everyone has a different opinion of what that is, so take my opinions with a grain of salt. The first area is called Riverside, which is right along the old part of town, right along the river. There's a huge river walk that extends across this entire zone of the city, and the locals love to come and watch the boats go by, and just in general, they like to get together here, feed the birds, go to the temple. It's really a very picturesque area, and it's also the first area in Phnom Penh, the original with all the old buildings and history, including the lovely palace, and people get pictures in front of the palace gate all the time, the art museum, and tons of other old buildings as well. This is a typical street in the Riverside area. The buildings are going to be old here, so if you like the old buildings, then this is the place for you. Some of these buildings are 50, 60, 70 years old, and there's tons of shops everywhere. There's hairdressers, there's restaurants, there's shoe shops. You can really get almost anything that you need for day-to-day life right here in the Riverside area. All of the apartments, or almost all of the apartments, are going to be in these old shop houses, and so you can find really cool different styles of apartment that have been renovated to be brought up to like a Western standard, and so there's some really cool, really unique apartments here. The one way that this video is not typical of Riverside is that I came here very early on a Sunday morning when there wasn't much traffic, and Riverside is actually by far the most busy and loudest section that you're going to find in pretty much all of Phnom Penh. The good news is there are lots and lots of convenience stores, 7-Eleven, Smiles. There's Candle Market, which is fantastic. Big market here, so you can get everything that you want. And also, if you want to take your kids out, there is a park right in front of the palace gate. So there's lots of stuff to do. Why, there's even nightclubs, lots and lots of nightclubs. So if nightlife is for you, then probably this part of town is where you're going to want to live. On top of that, especially around the nightclub area, you are going to see some, we'll just say some more undesirable gentlemen walking around quite often. There's also a lot of tourists here. This is the main tourist area. It doesn't bother me though. I actually enjoy seeing the tourists enjoying the areas around where I live, but you know, everybody's different. As far as the cost of an apartment, if you're looking for a good Western quality middle class style apartment, I mean one that's clean, bright, lots of windows, renovated, air conditioned, and plenty of room. For 1 bedroom, you're looking at $400 to $600 per month, and for a 2 bedroom, maybe $600 to $800 per month is what you'd be looking to pay on the Riverside. Moving south a little bit, our next area is called BKK1. And this is going to be the most most expensive neighborhood in the entire city. However, the streets there are much more quiet and wide and tree-filled than the Riverside. And so the vibe is just much more relaxed and green, and there's not a ton of traffic, and it's definitely a safer place to say to walk your kids on the streets and that kind of thing than if you were in the super busy Riverside area. Now also, you've got tons of high rises, and I mean super expensive, ultra luxury high rises like this one, Picasso, and tons of mid rises as well, which can also be extremely expensive. But in general, I would say that it's a more relaxing and calming place than you would find on Riverside. Some people like this and some people hate this, but it's not very Khmer here. Tons of fast food. Here in this corner, you've got Burger King, KFC, Carl's Jr., and Cold Stone Creamery. But there's also tons and tons of really cool restaurants from all over the world. Japanese, Thai, Mexican burgers, tons of craft beer all over the place. But if you want somewhere that's more local, there's also a really big fresh market, and you can buy food for yourself there that's very inexpensive. However, overall, I would say that if you want to have a much more Western vibe and you have plenty of money and it doesn't bother you that there's very little Khmer culture here, then this could be the place for you. That being said, there are lots of people who come to Cambodia to spend time in Cambodia, and BKK1 doesn't feel very Khmer to me. But that's what a lot of people want. They want those conveniences and all the convenience stores and the supermarkets and everything. And if that's what you want, BKK is for you. For the price of apartments, I can say that they're very expensive here, maybe prohibitively expensive for many. For one bedroom, you're looking at $600 to $800 per month, and for a really nice two bedroom, I would say $800 to $1,000 per month. Although I've seen apartments that were upwards of $3,000 per month in BKK1. To the west, BKK1 stops at Monolong Boulevard because it's such a huge barrier, to the point where when you cross the street, you're in a completely different neighborhood with a very different vibe from BKK1. And it's called BKK2 and 3, which I consider basically one neighborhood. The streets in BKK2 and 3 are going to be more narrow, they're going to be less tree covered than BKK1, but also they're going to be quite quiet like BKK1. Everything here is pretty local, by far the highest concentration of Khmers of any of these other neighborhoods you'll see, and most of the apartments are renovated houses like this one. There's also a ton of food, and almost all the food is Khmer, lots of seafood restaurants, and lots of cute little coffee shops everywhere. There is a market, although it's pretty small, and it looks pretty plain, but at night all these restaurants just light up, and they're just very cool and bright, and they serve fantastic food at quite low prices compared to BKK1. So if this sounds like the kind of neighborhood that you're looking for, in my experience, the one bedrooms tend to run between $350 and maybe $550 per month for a pretty nice renovated apartment. There aren't too many high rises here yet. And for a two bedroom, you're probably looking at the maybe $500 to $700 range for a nice two bedroom. That's BKK2 and 3. Our final area away south is called the Russian Market, also known as Tuol Tompoung, and although it is the farthest south neighborhood and quite far from the center, it is also very popular with expats. This is a pretty typical street in the Russian Market area, and you can see that there's a lot of trees and the streets are not too wide and they're pretty quiet. I would dare say it's a pretty neighborly neighborhood. Unlike in some of the other neighborhoods, this is a pretty good combination of both local Khmer and also a foreigner-friendly area. It really has everything that you need right here in one spot. As far as apartments, there's just tons and tons of mid-rises that are very Western and often very affordable, nestled within the neighborhoods. But there are also plenty of local apartments or renovated houses for you. Additionally, tons of food options. Like every time I turn the corner in Russian Market, I'm finding some new, cute, trendy little restaurant or bar that I have never seen before, and it's fantastic. But there's also tons of Khmer restaurants, and right near them, you tend to have tons of convenience stores as well. Also, if you want to buy things that are more local, there's a market called Tuol Tompoung Market that has just everything that you could possibly ever need, from shoes to clothes to ingredients for cooking to tools to motorcycle parts, and really everything that you could ever need is right there in that market. At night, there's some decent street food options, and there are plenty of restaurants and whatnot in the evening for you to enjoy. Be aware that the market itself is a tourist destination, and so you are going to see some tourists if that sort of thing bothers you. I don't really know that it bothers me, but everybody's different. As far as the actual cost of rent, I think you can get a halfway decent one bedroom for the $300 to $500 range, and for a two bedroom apartment, I think you do okay for the $500 to $700 range if you're looking for a middle-class Western style level of apartment. Well, that was my quick overview of 4 different common expat neighborhoods here in Phnom Penh. If you enjoyed that video, please like and subscribe, and make a comment about other content you'd like to see. Have a great day.